Doctor, ever put your annual physical on sale? They're doing that over at Schrock Innovations.
Isn't that cool? The equivalent for our computers, the Preventative Maintenance Checkup, that's what it's called, and it's on sale this week only.
Thor Schrock is CEO of Schrock Innovations. Good to see you, Thor.
Good to see you. You ever wonder why doctors don't just get fed up with the whole healthcare system and just do things like this and be like, you know what?
As a patient, I would love that, so that I'm not getting stuck.
It's like if I could have a relationship with a doctor where I actually paid the doctor a fair price for the work the doctor did, and I didn't have to deal with insurance.
It seems like such a stretch, but I'm right there with you. This bothers me more than anything.
I'd be sitting on a Sunday clipping coupons for my physical out of the Sunday paper.
Ooh, half off a colonoscopy.
Oh, there you go. What is it? So in your world, what is it? Preventative maintenance.
All right, we don't do colonoscopies, first of all. We don't even call them that for the computers. But basically, this is the final week of this special. Now, we've talked about it a couple times on the blend, just to kind of let people know ahead of time to get in and get it done. We're at clutch time now. This is the final week. The sale will not come back for a very long time. We try to do 2 of them a year, but when you're selling something that's normally $80 for only $35,
better than half off.
Yeah, I mean it's almost 60% off. You know, we have a lot. We've seen over 2,000 computers now. During the maintenance checkup, we test everything in the computer. So we test your computer's power supply, memory, hard drive. We go through a scan for malware. We're going to do all your updates. We're going to update that third-party software. We're going to make sure your antivirus is working. We're going to blow out all the dust and gunk. I mean, it's like a complete physical for your computer.
So is this something that, in theory, could prevent a crash because you see what's really going on in the computer and you're not caught off guard?
Well, and more importantly, it lets you know what's going on with the computer before a minor problem becomes a major problem. For example, I was working the bench in our Omaha Service Center last week. Customer came in for a maintenance checkup, $35 checkup. And, you know, we scanned, and he had a virus too, and he said, I have this FBI virus, remove that while it's in here. He authorized an hour of labor for that. Went through the computer, and in our testing, we found his hard drive was failing. It was a nice computer, good processor, good amount of memory, a 1 terabyte hard drive, but it was at 95% health. At 95% health, you don't see the problems. They don't, but it's kind of like when I tell people if you're 60 years old and your heart's working at 95% health, you're feeling pretty good.
Right.
You know, but with a computer, with a hard drive, as soon as it drops below 100%, that's effectively a heart attack for your computer. And it gets worse and worse and worse as time goes on. And this is people who say, I turned my computer on yesterday, it worked fine. Today I turned it on, and I'm looking at a $3,000 data recovery.
And the reality is that's where you're storing a lot of these family photos, the people who may no longer be here, the events that you can't recreate, and you lose those memories. Wouldn't you give anything, $34.99, to have that stuff back?
And the challenge here is, you know, our job is to give people options. It's not like a Jiffy Lube thing where you come in and you're like, oh, your air filter, oh yeah, you know, you got a little low pressure in this tire, let's fill that up. You know, it's not like that, because when we called this gentleman back, we said, hey, before we spend this $100 removing this virus, you need to know you have a bad hard drive, and I'm not sure you want to go through that process depending on what you're going to decide to do with the hard drive. And what he decided to do actually was just to get a new computer. And so, you know, if he would have taken and put the $135 into this computer and then 2 months later the hard drive failed on him and he had a $3,000 data recovery,
how sad.
Wouldn't be feeling good. That's the power of a preventative maintenance.
Yeah, and then people don't really think about that. They think my computer's running fine, I have no problems with it.
Especially Macs, my friend. They mask their failures until they're catastrophic.
This checkup, is it just for PCs, or can you bring in a Mac too?
We can do Macs, laptops, desktops, all-in-one systems. If you're bringing in a desktop computer like a tower, bring your power cord, or don't bring your power cord with you. Do not bring the power cord. We have power cords. You don't get your power cord back. Sometimes it leads to a little problem when you get home. With your laptop, though, bring in your power cord, because I mentioned that we test your power supply. On desktops, that's inside the computer. On laptops and all-in-ones, it's the power cord. It's that brick, and we need to test that.
Well, you're going to start getting busy here with this sale. When should people bring in their computers?
Well, the sooner the better. We're open today from 10 o'clock all the way through till 8 p.m. It's supposed to be a little weather tomorrow, so you know you might want to get it in today so you can get it in and get the best turnaround times, because what ends up happening here is we're going to send the broadcast emails and everything else this week to all of our existing customers, and the turnaround times get a little lengthy. Get in early to get the best turnaround time.
And at all locations, I presume?
Every single one of them.
Great. So it's Village Point South, Papillion, and Lincoln. You can also learn more about Schrock Innovations online. That's SchrockInnovations.com. Thor is also really active on Facebook, sort of giving you heads up, not just to things that are technology related, but even when it comes to your personal information, security of financial information, passwords, that kind of thing. Any of the stuff you see in the news, he's covering in a layman's way online, which we love.
And the worst case scenario, if your hard drive fails, I was listening to your radio show yesterday, you're talking about data recovery, which can be can be a
It
little
can get pricey. It starts
Yep.
at $400, but somebody asked me what our most expensive one was. It was $13,000.
$13,000. I heard you. Yeah, I
We
heard
got
you
a
talking
quote
about
once, not from you. This is years ago, where there was a comma in the figure to get that information back. It might take your breath away, you know.
You want to prevent those hard
Yes,
drives
you
from
do.
failing.
Or
because they get
please back
expensive.
up your data. That's what it comes down to. Back up
Yeah.
your data.
Back it up.
Then if your hard drive fails, you're like, oh darn.
Right, you
Yeah.
go get a new one.
Go get a new hard drive, but you have your data.
Thanks, Thor.
Thanks, guys.
Really
All right,
nice
good to
see
see